Ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International, I wish to welcome you all in viewing a new interview with a prestigious guest, Mrs. Claudia Sovre. She is actually at the moment working in Ljubljana in Slovenia, and she has a wonderful background dance career. She started as a ballerina, and then she started teaching and afterwards choreographing. I have seen some of her choreography that are really outstanding and beautiful. And she made choreography for her ballet school and for the ballet company also of Slovenia. And her work is highly acclaimed everywhere. She has also been a guest teacher in many countries. I don't know really which one, but I know for sure in Egypt and maybe in other countries that now she's going to describe and explain and outline everything on her own, which is much better. Hello, Mrs. Claudia. How are you doing?
Hello, Jean-Pierre. Yes, I'm fine. I'm very well. Thank you. I hope you are.
So nice to have you as a new guest on Ballet International interview today. You are mostly welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
It is an honor to have you with us. Mrs. Claudia, let's start from the very beginning. How did you start ballet? What motivated you to learn ballet? And who in your family inspired you or talked to you about ballet? At what age was it?
Well, the story is that my mother was teaching in secondary school, like gymnasium, but not gymnasium, but secondary school. And they had these culture days every year where they had to take pupils, students to the theater, to the ballet. And I always wanted to go with her. I was, I don't know, young. Well, let me think, 6, something like this. I was really small, 5 maybe. And she told me that I was always, when there was the ballet, she took me with her. And I was watching like with no sound, she said with open mouth, like I saw some kind of magic. Then she decided to put me in the ballet school. So because I live in Ljubljana, this is the main city of Slovenia, and we have the ballet school. So, and I really remember also one performance. It was one leg. Sorry, something.
No, don't worry, don't worry.
A glass of water. I think I have it here. Yes. I just remember Swan Lake. I remember third act, and when Prince, you know, when the black swan tell the prince, haha, I fool you, you know, I'm not a white, and then we can see the white swan crying at the back. And, you know, when this is like crying, like silhouette or something. This thing I remember still today, and I think I was 6 or something.
Yeah.
And then she put me to the ballet school, and I just started to go to the ballet school. And it was okay. And then at the age I came to puberty, somehow I finishing the primary school, so I should be like 14 or something, 13. I just got so sick of it, you know. I said, I don't want to do it anymore. We had one teacher who was not a bad teacher, but he didn't have really good pedagogical, psychological approach, like we say in these days. You know, he was quite strict and would shout also. I know he did it with his best intention. Now I know, but when you are a child, you know,
Yes.
we are different. Some can stand it, and I really got so sick of it. I got a little bit more fat because I was in puberty, you know. I mean, fat, not fat, but not skinny anymore with this hormones. And I just said, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And I was in third grade, because then it was 8th grade. I mean, 4 and 4. You know, now
Yeah.
we have in Ljubljana 6 and 4. And it was 4 and 4. And I said, and my mother said, look, okay, if you don't want to do it, you can stop, but not in the middle of the year. You should finish it. So maybe one day you will continue, but like never, never, I will never continue. But because my mother really wanted, wished, because she never pushed us, but she always makes some kind of argument, concrete. So we always listen to her. And I finished this year, and then I really stopped, as I said, and it passed like, I think, 3 years. Then it was earlier, it was like 11, 12, yes. And then 3 years I didn't dance. And then I was finishing the primary school, 3 years. And of course, I didn't do anything, but I all the time wanted to dance. I was missing dancing. I went to this standard Latino, you know, jazz. I tried everything, but it was, well, more like a hobby.
Yes.
And then one night, it's like a film, I was dreaming of ballet. Like I was on the stage and I was in a beautiful tutu or something, and everybody was clapping, and really I get this experience, was so beautiful. And I woke up and I said, no, I want to go back. I want to try, you know. And then I ran to my mother and I said, Mother, I want to go back to ballet. She was so happy because she always some kind of see me in this. I don't know why, really. And then in a few days, of course, these dreams went away. And I was like, well, I'm not so sure. But my mother was so happy. And I said, okay, I gained too much weight. Maybe I just go to lose some weight and do something. And so I started. It took me back, and here I am. This is a story of funny
Yes,
story.
very brief outline. Yes.
Yeah.
The first, when you first started the first classes when you were a child, was that the state at the Ljubljana Ballet School, the state school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was ballet school,
private.
but I was still too young to go to the first grade. So we had then 2 years of pripravnica, we call it, like
Yes,
pre-ballet or preparation or somehow.
preparation. Yes, yes. And was those preparation very tough, very hard?
Oh, then it was, oh no, I don't remember this so much, because then you were so small. It's
Yeah.
more like play and do some spagat or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember. It was nice. It was, he had a nice teacher. But then this man teacher, he was quite strict, you know,
Yes.
and he made me not feeling well psychologically, and this is why I wanted to stop.
Yes. But you think that if you had had another teacher instead of that one, you would have continued?
I think so. I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Because it was really this such a pressure in my head psychologically, really
But was this pressure
afraid of him.
yes, was this pressure only for you, or there were other students who had the same feeling?
For everybody was it. He didn't hate me especially or something to get really on me. He went to everybody, you know, but
Everybody.
it's how he was, and I was too sensitive. I was maybe in this age, or I don't know, or I just couldn't stand it anymore.
Yes. But do you think that if somebody would have spoken to the teacher and would have said to the teacher, look, don't behave or don't be too strict with the students in this way, this maybe would have helped in some way to modify?
My father went to the school and
Yes.
he spoke with him, but it was even worse then, you know, because I don't know how my father also was talking. I don't know. I don't know also his way, but he was very protective always to us.
Yes.
And he went there, and no, nothing.
Yes. Did you had any brother or sister in your family?
I have 2 sisters.
And they did also ballet, or you were the only one?
They both went to ballet because, you know, I'm the big sister. So, you know, the smaller, usually they just follow. So the middle sister, she really went just for 2-3 years. She stopped.
Yeah.
But the young sister, she was the youngest. She was very talented. And she wanted to, she still is very sorry that she didn't finish the school, but she came in the age who was the puberty, and she was a little bit too
Yes.
big. But you know, this goes away, you know, if
Yes.
we should normally come to this kind of
Yes.
children. Oh, and she also had one teacher. She was terrible, and she made them repeat the class just because they were too fat. I mean, fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Fat for ballet, not fat, but
Mm.
and because she was good, you know, she was really. I can say now she had all this. She even had like 2 periods. I remember I always had problems with periods. Had it naturally, like, and she was really, really talented, you know. And then she went one more time to I don't know, 6th grade or something. I don't remember. And then at the end, it said again that you are still too fat or something. I mean, she also had big
Yeah.
problems, these big psychical problems, and then she just stopped.
She stopped. Yeah.
Again, my father went to school and he made, he was very angry. I think they didn't really like him because she also said we just spoke with her, I don't know, few months ago about, I don't know, past, and she just remembered that the teacher asked them that everybody should bring a dancer who she like, you know, like I don't know, Barishnikov or somebody who
Yes.
was in that time, and and hang it on the wall, like, you know,
Yes.
when
Yes.
they're staying. And she brought a pig, you know,
Oh.
pig, you know, and then he came to her, you know, or it was she, I don't know which one, teacher then. What is this? She said, this is me. She was so, you know, so bad. This is terrible to do. Like the child do something like this because they were all the time, you know, pushing her down.
Yes.
And she's still okay. She's an artist now. She's a drawer, but because my father was a painter, she finished the academy. I mean, the University for Pedagogic
Yes.
Art, but painting pedagogic. So she's happy, but it always stays in her this wish why I didn't went
Yeah.
into ballet direction.
Well, you know, in ballet, maybe it doesn't mean that you must always have the excellent silhouette, the body silhouette to become a great dancer, because there are ballerinas who are not thin, they are not fat, but they are not thin. They are
Stronger.
yes, they are a little bit stocky muscles, and but they are very good ballerina.
Of course, you know, it's not only swan, you know, it's also
Yes,
other
yes,
roles.
yes. And
Yes,
it depends also of the style of dance that you choose, because in contemporary you must have another type of body than pure classic ballet, like a swan, like you say. You know, in Swan Lake you must look like a swan. You must have a silhouette. So just returning to you now, you have finished with that when you return back after you stopped in
I finished the ballet school, yes.
yes, and you graduated there, and
Mm.
then you made
Then
audition.
I start to work in Ljubljana
Yeah,
immediately. I mean, already when I was in last grade, because I was 1 year old, I mean older, because I stopped. I already finished the secondary school because I
yeah,
went also to the school for design,
yes.
graphical design. I did it parallel. So when I finished, I still had 1 year to finish the ballet.
Hmm.
And my teacher said, you can already go to the ballet, to the opera, because then it was still normal. Everybody, I mean, almost everybody who finished the school came to the theater. Today
Hmm.
it's much different. It was still because we were living in this socialist system, was not so strict with the contract, you know, they could
Yes.
like more
Was-
people. It was not like it's today. It's much different for every.
It was more flexible
It's,
before.
yes, much more flexible. So already in last grade of the school, I was already starting with the ballet, with the work in the opera, and then I stayed for I finished the school, and I get the normal contract. I stayed for 3 seasons, but then I felt somehow Ljubljana, it's quite small. I don't know. I was curious. I wanted to go a little bit out to see what's happening other places. So I went auditioning around Germany and Austria a little bit, and I didn't get any contract, but in one place in Essen, they really had tall ballerinas because I'm tall. And they said, well, maybe we call you back, we like you, but whenever there will be any place. And so, but in between, there was a lady, she came from Zagreb, assistant from Zagreb, Croatian National Theatre,
Yes.
Zagreb. And she was doing the dance of cadet. I don't know how is it
Yes.
called.
Yes.
Yeah, you know which ballet? It's short one, yeah.
It's like a graduation ball, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly. And she was putting it to our stage, and she liked me, and she gave me, even if I was not such a tech, I had nice legs, good feet, long legs, everything, but my technique was not so strong, you know.
Yes, yes.
But she gave me the main part to learn it, and I also danced it later, and she really liked me and said, if you wish, you can come maybe to Croatia, to Zagreb. And then I was like, well, because it was still Yugoslavia then, but this is bigger theater, it's more dancers, it's more intensive work, at least then it was. I said, why not? And then I went to try there, and they accept me immediately. And in the meantime, also from Essen, I got the answer that they now have a place free. And if I want to come to the audition again, they wanted to see me again.
Yes.
I was like, I said, Zagreb is
To
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's close. I can go with the car. It's 2 hours, and every weekend I could come home to my parents. My mother was cooking lunch for me, and so I just choose, the more
easy one.
Yeah, which I felt more secure somehow.
Yeah.
Essen I heard it was quite tough. They didn't have a big group, and they're really working very hard. I mean, I was never afraid of hard work, but I heard some bad information. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I choose the other one. And
so you have chosen the Croatian.
The Croatian, yes. So
Yes.
I was in Zagreb for 6 years.
Yes.
Stayed there for 6 seasons. Was great. I think this was my best years, like active dancer for me still. And I think I would just stay there, but then the war came. The war on Balkan, Bosnia, first started in Croatia. Okay, Slovenia was quite soon out.
Yes.
We had a short war, and it was a shock for us, for Yugoslavia, but soon was finished. But then it started in Croatia. It was terrible. I mean, in Zagreb was nothing really happening, but there was all the time this sirena.
Yes.
We had to go up and down and up.
Yes. So it makes a lot of fear.
It was really bad, and the money the salary went really down. We couldn't really survive because we had to pay the apartments, and it was not a good situation, like not in ballet, but other situation. And at that time in Ljubljana, the situation went really up because there was one good ballet director, and his wife was a soloist, a very good soloist, Irena Pasaric. And they had nice performances. I went to see Swan Lake, Giselle on good level. So I was like, well, maybe I was age, I don't know, not 30 yet, but 25 plus something.
Yes.
Okay. 28, maybe something like this. 6. I said, well, now I'm still young enough that I can go somewhere. And I said, maybe I go back home. It's nice. It's good situation now. So I made the audition and they took me back to Ljubljana and I was dancing there.
Yes.
Like this, yeah.
So what, in your opinion, what was the difference between the repertoire of the Croatian ballet company and the Slovenian one?
What
Was
was
it both
the
classical or there was...
Yes, they are both, I mean, mostly classical,
Yes,
also contemporary, of course, especially in these days.
yes,
But the base, it's classical, but Zagreb is bigger. It's bigger company, so and more performances they had. Of course, in Ljubljana has a lot of different ballet directors. They change every few years, which is in a way not so good because, I mean, it's not bad, but they all very different people coming, you know. Like now we have Renato Danela, and before was one Sanja Nešković-Pršin from Ljubljana, and she had some kind of vision of really contemporary stuff, you know.
yes,
So it was too contemporary, everything was black and white and minimalistic, and we lost all the public, but she was put, of course, politically, it's always political things who are putting the directors, you know. So this was not a good period, but Zagreb somehow has all the time this, you know, classical repertoire, which is the base, you know, and then with this also some contemporary or dramatic ballet. It's more, how can I say? I think a dancer gets more out of it.
Yes.
There, and we had a lot of tours.
Yes.
Because that time, I'm talking about that time. Now it's different. Now it's also Ljubljana has now a lot of performances. It's a lot of and classical and neoclassical. You know, Renato Danela, he's doing this kind of neoclassical things and contemporary. And now it's a lot of performances also here. Now it's different time, but then was quite a big difference, I must say.
Yes. Yes.
But still, they are still bigger and we are still smaller.
Well, I think that also when you work in a big ballet company, the dancers of the ballet company have the great opportunity to improve the technique upon the repertoire they are doing.
Yes, of course.
And the dances, the choreography dances they are doing, because most of you do classical ballet and also contemporary, but let's say Swan Lake, Don Quixote, Paquita, and all this pure classical Nutcracker, you know, Sleeping Beauty and Don Quixote, and all these great classic give a strong imprint in the technique to the dancers.
That's why it must be classical, because we are national theater, opera, and ballet. We are ballet dancers. That's why when I was this director I was telling you about, she was really, people were just, you know, rolling on the floor, more or less. No. And then it came like Nutcracker, which we have, and she gave people like 2 weeks to do the Nutcracker. That was like, and before 3 months, no pointers, no nothing, you know. So it was quite a lot of injuries also.
Yes.
People were not happy, of course, and shape went down. You could see on people, you know, because teaching classes and
they were unhappy. They were unhappy about.
Of course not.
Yes. Now, when you returned, so you went to Zagreb, and then from Zagreb you returned back to Ljubljana.
This is it, yes.
Yes. And in Ljubljana, how did you grow up your career?
Well, I started to dance again. I mean, I continue with dancing. I was in the court de ballet, and I get some solo also stuff, but not, I was never the first soloist. I got some small, but I was always very, I can say, good worker, correct. I like to work always on the class. You know, I'm this kind of person by nature. It's my character, and maybe reliable. What can I don't know? Can maybe other people can describe it better. But then I got pregnant, and I had a baby. But after I had pregnant, I came back normally. I lost my weight. I started to work. It was not a problem. But one woman who was a little bit older than me, and she became then a ballet director for a few years. She saw something in me, and she asked me, "Do you want to try to be a ballet assistant?" It was Irina Lukashova who was doing the Swan Lake then, the new production. And she said, for the Corps de Ballet, we were thinking about you. And I was like, I was surprised and I was honored, you know.
She asked you to become a ballet assistant or a ballet or teacher?
Assistant.
Assistant.
Because, maybe now I jump a little bit. I already, when this woman became this lady, Darinka Lauric, she became artistic ballet director. She was asking me, yes, now I remember, she was asking me to help her in the office.
Yes.
So I could take a little, I could still work like a dancer, but I would also help her in the office. So I'll be some kind of connection, because they were very unhappy with this, all this ballet, not a secretary, but coordination people. It was, we had a good one a long time ago. She went to retirement, and then they had like two or something, and never was satisfaction with these people. And then, because I'm very organized, and I would like, yeah, why not? You know why? Because I was still, I mean, I was then like 35 maybe. I could still dance, and I did still dance, and did class every day and everything. But, you know, in time, you know that you need once to stop. I was, well, why not? And then I started to do these things. And with this, I was like also said, maybe I could also, because I was all the time thinking about teaching ballet. I mean, not teaching children, what I do now. In fact, I will never teach children. Like, I will never go back to ballet. It's not for me. It's not for me. But class for professionals was always because maybe I'm very good with music.
Musical person.
Very well, yes. And for me to make an exercise, you know, like battement or battement together was never a problem. And I was always interesting. I was always watching teachers who came from abroad, because then there was no internet. It was no information like now. You push a button and you see whoever you want. You want Vaganova, you want French school, you want this. It was nothing. It was just this information which you got in life. And I was always checking all this, what are they doing, how they're teaching, what I like, what I think maybe is not so good.
Always based on your experience and other people's experience, the world of internet.
I was always wondering how it goes, and so. And then I remember once we didn't have a teacher, or it needed to do some warming up, and I said to this lady, artistic director, I said, maybe I can do the class, I can try. She was like, yeah, why not? And then they used me more and more, and then I see I can really, because, you know, for the professional, it's much different. You just need to put things together that they work, and to make, of course, some construction and everything. But it's not that you teach them the steps. The dancers, they already know the steps. They are who they are. They will not change much. I mean, it depends from them. It's just from you, how you put the class together. Is it okay or not? But you don't need to do this work, which you have to do with children when you really teach them the step. It's really different, you know.
Professional already know everything,
So, and then I really start to do this, and then soon they already asked me with this. It sometime came together, these three things. First was this office, and then class, and then immediately also this assistant job. Almost at the same time it started to happen. And then I was like, sure, why not? And then I was assistant for the Swan Lake for this. And already soon after this lady asked me, she said, look, I like very much how you work. And we could take you, if you want to change your contract from a ballet dancer to, there is some kind of place, it's called ballet assistant of the choreographer. But I did everything in this. I said, yeah, sure, why not? Okay, I lose my beneficial because we had this permanent contract, you know, in our system. And you have like 1 year for 15 months or something like this. So you have these ages.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course I lost this, but I said, why, sure, why not? Anyway, not a person who, even when I will not be dancing anymore, I will do something else. I will not sit at home and do nothing. I need a person to work and do some action. And if it's in ballet, even better, you know. So and I just I decided to take it, of course, and then I changed it. It was 2003. I changed the contract. So then I was in the office and teaching classes sometimes and doing assistant job. This was.
So, and did you felt more enjoyable working in the office and sometimes giving few classes rather than being on stage and dancing and participating straight away with the ballet company?
More, it's hard to say, you know. I was missing being on the stage, of course. But I was still, you know, doing classes almost every day. So I wasn't out. And I was still doing, in the beginning, I still did some Queen in Swan Lake. So I didn't really stop, like, totally, you know. So it for me was not, I didn't feel that I'm losing something because I had even much more work than before.
Yes.
Because when you are dancing, dancers, they don't know. I said, every dancer should once go step in the other side, you know?
Yes. Because
Plus,
life
teacher or assistant or choreographer,
yes.
everybody should go there to
Yes.
see his colleagues, her colleagues, how they behave sometimes, how they are different, how hard it is for us sometimes, you know. I think it's much harder job. If you are a ballet dancer, okay, it's a difficult job. But you have responsibilities only to you. You're thinking only about yourself. You are the whole world, you know. Okay, if you're in the corps de ballet, you have to look right and left. You stay in the line, but still, you're thinking about your class, your legs, your, I don't know, figure, your everything, you know, or all the rest is not your job. You don't in your life, I don't like this teacher, I don't like this assistant, I don't like this choreographer, blah, blah, blah. Always complain, not always complaining, but you know how. I was also like this, everybody like this. This is the life of the ballet dancer. But when you go in the other role, when you have all this responsibility and all these dancers on your shoulders, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Not easy.
It's very demanding job. For me, teaching is better than to be. I feel it more to be teacher than to be assistant.
I think because also you do it with passion, because this is something new, a new door that opened to you, you know, the life offered to you this new way to express what you maybe couldn't do at the full while you were on stage. Now you can do it with your dancers, with the dancers, which is different. So when you see
the dance, it's totally different, yeah.
Because you can correct, you can say, you can direct the dancers, and even when you do a choreography, you can put your ideas on on the dancer's body.
Yes.
So it's like a sculpture, you know, that you are sculpting like a Michelangelo with a sculpture.
Yeah.
So you are directing all this. This is wonderful what you have discovered after.
Yeah,
And
but I'm also this kind of person. I'm very passionate. Everything I do with passion. So
yes,
for me, I'm in the office. I do this with passion. I will write everything. I will put it by the order. You know, for me, if I take a job, I always get into it. I don't know how
yeah,
can I. So for me, but it was a nice, when I think back, a nice way how everything happened, you know.
yes,
Of
how
course,
it
I
develops.
started to do it in company, but in company was very, I said many times, for me, even with starting teaching job, would be easier to go to the Paris Opera than to go in front of your colleagues, because we were together all the time. We had all these personal stories, you know,
Yes,
and the dancer never looked the same. Somebody who is coming out of them, you know, who they drink together, coffee, beer, I don't know, have party after the
yes,
performance, and somebody who is coming from outside. Even
yes,
if who is coming from outside, for 2 weeks, everybody is perfect. After
yes.
2 weeks, then he started already complaining, you know, but for 2 weeks, you know, everything is great. But for you who are there all the time, it's not so easy, you know. It's not so easy to have a I mean, to get this relationship, to get some authority, not
Yeah,
not this kind, but a normal, you know, because if
yeah,
you're leading people, you need to lead people. It's
yes,
and sometimes they go, some of them, over the limit, you know, and we are also just human people. The teachers are just human and have their own emotions, and I came sometimes in a bad situation, I must say,
yes,
especially because I'm with them like now for 20 years, you know,
yes. So
and
they know you as a
I
person.
know them, so it's
Yes,
sometimes I always say, please, not more than 2 weeks, please, or not every day, or because it's
yes,
too long, you know.
yes.
And the assistant job, it's also I do it, you know, with I'm sorry, my dog
No, no problem.
barking. I also do this, but I'm some kind of more like teaching.
Teaching.
But
Yeah.
in the other side, we have like assistants, 2, 3, 4, and nobody wants to teach. They're like, no, please, no. They don't feel that, you know. They are much more comfortable to be assistant. And for me, it's
Yeah.
opposite. I'm not so comfortable because I'm not so good in remembering. I mean, remembering. I don't know, to see it from the video and immediately to show, you know, I
Yes.
don't have this kind of brain.
Yes.
Some of them, they see it and they immediately like, I'm not, I need it longer. And I have the other things I'm better with.
Yes. Yes. And how did your colleagues who were dancing with you on stage behaved and reacted when they saw that you slowly swapped into the office and became assistant? How did they reacted to your regard?
Well, some of them, they ask me, why did you do this? Like they were so, you lost your shorter years, you know, beneficent
Yes.
years. And I told them, well, everybody will have to stop once. So, and I'm like I told you before, I don't want to go to pension, to retirement and doing nothing. So this I took as a good opportunity. Some of them, they couldn't understand because a lot of people, they see only advantage, you know, how they
Yeah.
will. I was never a person who goes to job. I always loved ballet. I always was living ballet, and this was my life. Still it is, you know, but not everybody thinks like this,
Mm.
especially in socialist countries, ex-socialist, where we have these permanent contracts, you know. This gives people some kind of comfortable feeling, and a lot of them, they don't do it with passion, which I think it's very sad, you know,
Yes.
very sad.
Yes. It's a sad.
Because a lot of people are waiting for contract, they cannot get them, and the other way, they are other side, there are the people who they come and complain and they still again, I don't want to do this, and
Yeah.
and this is then I always say, go do something else. Go, I don't know. It's not a big salary. It's not some dream job. You need to lose weight all the time. You work in the night. So go do something else.
Yeah.
Have guts and say goodbye and leave it to somebody else who
Yeah.
will be so happy
Yeah.
to do it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm the always the one who don't shut up. I always say what I think, and I'm saying things like this, and then they don't like it, because
Yes.
people like to be comfortable and they don't want to change things.
Yeah.
You realize
So,
this is
if
how it
I
is.
if I understood well, looking to your Facebook profile, you also have been teaching. You had your own ballet school, or you were teaching in other ballet studio?
Well, now and then I didn't come to that part. So when I started to teach, and the salary was small, I
Yes.
was not big, and then also Nina, from the Egypt, she was looking for teachers, and I started I said, well, why not earn some extra money with this,
Yes.
So, because they ask me already before, but then I was a single parent. I was alone with my son, and I couldn't really afford I didn't have nobody to take care because his other grandmother from his father's side are not in Slovenia. I were quite sick, so I didn't really have somebody to take care about him. So I
Mm.
could afford to take extra time
Yes.
working.
Yes.
Already my job was enough because assistant already afternoons and this, and really this was hard enough. And of course, I love my child. This was the best decision I made in my life. I think. Um, so they asked me already before, but I was like, well, I would like to, but no way. And then, of course, child grow up a little bit, and then slowly I said, now I can already maybe do something also extra. And they asked me in some Zina is some kind of school who is they're doing jazz and show dance, and they also wanted to do ballet, and I started there to teach children, but it was like not so nice because these are children who are doing jazz, and show dance, and they're, I don't know, jumping grandis, they turn periods, but everything in ballet way wrong, it's underdone, everything is totally
Yeah.
different. And
It's not
then I
opposite.
come and teach them ballet because now it's, in these days, also these schools, they have ballet, and of course, when I give them the bar and try to clean something, these children are like, why do we need this? Because they're children, they were, I don't know, 10, 11, and they were happy with what they did,
Yes.
why I have to change it, this is and then I come, the bar, do we have to do again this bar? I'm like, yeah, like all your life, do the bar. And I was not really, so I stayed there for, I don't know, 2, 3 years. And then it came some other opportunity, and I started to teach in some other school. And then, and then I met Nina from Egypt because she's all the time looking for teachers. And I would like, yeah, sure, I would like to, but I don't go to Egypt. I have my family here. And then we met. Because she's originally she's from Ljubljana, She has also
Uh-huh.
mother was still alive. In between that, she died. She was sick. But she was still there, and Nina came and she said, yeah, you're such a good teacher. You have this talent for it. And she said, why don't you teach? I think now when I talk with you, now I remember her, she was like, why don't you rent a studio and teach? Oh, it's so expensive. She said, I don't think so. And then really I went to check, and I was like, well, it's not, because if you have a few people, you get it back, So, and then it was, in fact, she made me think in this way.
Yes.
And I started to teach, not like a school, but I offered classes like few times a week, but it was very difficult because I work in the theater and our schedule is, you know, up and down, and
Yes.
it's hard. So in fact, I tried, but there were people coming, but because I couldn't make really fixed schedule and fixed place and make advertising. So it was more small group but the one who came, they keep on coming, you know. This I saw that I have some kind of
a direct good
yes,
relationship.
yes. And there were people who are from contemporary school or from ballet school or so. So in years it came. So and I already also offered during the summer and during the holidays. And it came quite a lot of people, and it went better and better. So now I some kind of have every Sunday I have Sunday classes, because who wants to do it next to the ballet school, who wants to improve. I work very much on individual approach, you know. I think with these years I get quite well in catching mistakes people are doing and what are they missing in muscles and everything. So I think I can quite help them. So I already helped a few students to get better, to get to exams in the middle school, ballet school, to do it. And then I was happy because I saw that I have results, you know.
Positive results.
Yes, and that who is coming loves me. I mean, loves me, but likes to come, you know, likes to come and likes to work with me. So they always stay, you know. Only when they go to the next level, to the ballet school, they go away. But now again, they're coming. I don't have a lot of them, but the one they are coming, they give me so much, you know. So now in the every summer, every Sunday. And if they ask me from some private classes, I also do it because this I can adapt to the.
And do you still work at the Ljubljana Opera House as an assistant?
Yes, I still work, but I just got now, before the new year, the letter from our how can I say in English, Office for Retirement and Social Security or something, that the 8th of January this year, I can go to retirement.
Oh.
So I was, quite surprised, you know, but well, it's this year's already for me. But so I will stay for sure till the end of this season. And because I'm a little bit getting tired of the situation. Have enough. Not of ballet, but of this house, of this situation in the house, of nothing changes, you know. I don't know if I tell you, we still have this old socialist system with the permanent contract. Which, when we changed, you know, we became democratic country, and so once on this way, they change. So it's they say no more beneficial, you know. So 1 year is 1 year. But they change only this. They didn't change. Then you must cut the permanent contract because we are not sitting in the office.
Well,
and so now
if they ask you to retire, that doesn't mean that you must retire from your personal activity teaching.
No. I'm talking only about
theater.
The theater. That we have now 60 years old people in the theater who cannot dance, and nobody can push them to go to the retirement, and they just don't want to go, and they're coming on classes, do few buttons and this and so, and then they go to coffee and home. And we are 45 members, let's say, and 20 of them cannot dance anymore. Can you believe this? This is a situation which this change of this law, it was, I think, years ago or more, happened. And it came like this, and now it's terrible. You know, people, young people, they are overworked, they are injured, they do double job. Then we don't have enough of people to do Giselle or something, and then we hire somebody just for the performance. And these older guys, they're, you know,
It's a shame. It's
nobody is doing nothing. You know, when I applied as a artistic director, you know, you remember I applied when it was this, and they of course didn't take me. I had all this worked out, exactly the plan, how to do it, because it's possible, but nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to get into this. It's not an easy job. It's a dirty job, and union would jump, and people would jump. Well, I said, if you cannot play the violin, you cannot sit in the orchestra. I mean, how it's possible, you know? Okay, you know, in the theater, you always have a few like older guys. It's normal. I mean, older for ballet, like 40. But if you are in shape, you can still do a lot. You don't need to do first role. You don't need to do, but there is a lot to do. But when you're 60, come on. What is this?
60, you know, the physique change and the body change.
Of course. And also these people, you know, because they have contract permanent, a lot of them, they don't really take care about themselves. So I'm so sick of this, you know, these years it's happening, and they are all so clever, and the artistic director are changing and everything, but this is just worse and worse and worse. And I'm just tired of
imagine now, let's dream a little bit. Let's imagine that the situation all of a sudden would change from that to that.
Yes.
And would give the possibility to you to one day direct the company, no matter what age you are, and you become artistic director of the Ljubljana Opera House. And what changes would you apply to improve the ballet company, to make new changes in order to make it more appealing to the audience and to the international audience?
Well, I have everything written down, all this in my... Well, the first problem is this, what I'm telling you with all dancers. It's not possible. It's two ways, but I see my only one way, but let's say it's two ways. Or we go back to the old system, so people go to retirement at 45 or something. But this for me, it's like we live longer now. We live till 80 years. Let's say, okay, somebody more, somebody less. Let's say people live longer. So you go, let's say if it's average like 80, so you go at 45, so what? What you will do 35 years? For me, this is stupid. People need to not to work hard. They can change the profession. They can do something else. They can maybe go to study. You know, it's so many things you can do. You know, I think there should be a system which would help the dancers. I mean, help. When, I mean, the good dancers who are really in the theater for, let's say, 20 years, to help them this transmission to the other job, like with the school, with something, with, or maybe they can be also teachers, assistants, but not everybody can do. This is not job for everybody, you know. The people don't understand. This is other job. It's other. You need to feel it. You need to love it. You need to also have a psychological moment to be the leader, because you are the leader then. You have to lead people. You cannot be like, you know. But you know, so this is for sure I would change. This is the first problem they would change, because in Croatia now they had the same problem, just for example. And from now, I think the 1st of February, they have a new law. They got it. So everybody goes to pension. Who is overnight, they change. But of course, it should be going to politics. It should be in this president and everything. They must, you know, it's a procedure, but they did it. And we did nothing. We did nothing, so it will just continue like this. So, and then it's also other things, you know, don't have a co-repetitor for permanent. We just have somebody for class, honorar, and like for classical performance. We lost the co-repetitor, which is so bad. You cannot do everything with the CD because you need to change the tempo, and then you go with this button, pitch, and it's like amateur. We're a national theater. We lost the physiotherapist. We don't have physiotherapist. They don't understand. Artistic directors, they do understand, but we don't have our own money. It's up there, and we just had a meeting like today, and people are like, and then he said, yeah, then they should go to a doctor. And Renato Zanella had say, good, then we will be without people. Because if you have a pain in the muscle and you go to a doctor, first you need a few days to come to the doctor. Then he will put you to the orthoped. You will wait if you want to go like normally without paying extra. You will wait half a year, and then they will. It's a.
They will lose their jobs.
You should like sport people, professional sports, like in every normal professional ballet, they have a. Or in the house, or somebody out of the house who has a contact, something,
Yes.
It's so many things. And also these jobs, we don't have a working place for the ballet assistants, for the ballet misters, it's in this systemization, it should be changes from year. I don't know which year. This is so many things to be done, but this is, I'm telling you, directors are changing, and nobody stays long enough and has the right vision to not to do for himself or herself, but to do for this ballet and to change stuff which are from the last century, I don't know where, which should be changed,
It should be changed.
This is but well, as I say, a lot of people don't like changes,
Yes, I understand.
I'm this one who want changes for better, not for me, but
for everybody, yes, for everybody who is
ballet, for the art. It doesn't go for the people, for those people. These people will go, other people will come. We have to make a system for the ballet, which is
for the art of
because
ballet.
We are changing.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's return a little bit backwards when you were dancing. You have been dancing corps de ballet, middle, so not really
the ballet.
Yes. And what were your up and downs, and what were you feeling when, or during classes, or during rehearsals, or during performances, that you were a little bit scared, and you had some apprehension of doing this role, and you knew that in that variation it was something a little bit difficult, that you were a little bit scared about it. Did you ever have this feeling?
Yeah, I remember when I had, snowflakes in the Nutcracker, and I was in Zagreb. They gave me solo snowflakes. This was 3 couples, and I had one boy. We had to do some kind of period, and I was never strong in period. But I learned some pas de deux, so I knew when I go on point, I have to hold my body and I have to stay there. So this boy so bad in duet. He was really like all over, no experience, and for me was this. I think it was double dégagé or something, and when I had to go with him, that was like a nightmare. It was really like a nightmare. I never knew. We just came there, and had to do this, and I would like never knew will I manage or not, because it was not only up to me,
Yes.
It was a nightmare. I was always shaking before, it was nothing so big, but it was solo. Everybody saw you, and if you come there and I was ashamed,
Yeah, but I think that every dancer have this moment, who more, who less, but we all have this experience of of having technical teachers sometimes in the variation. Yes. Now let's return back to you said about the people who are 60 or maybe 55, 60 years old. and they should go on retirement. Now, what about the artistic director? Do they have a limit of age, or they can work over 60?
I don't think it's age. I don't think so. Because with us, artistic director, it's not permanent job. It's 5 years. So we have a intendant or director of the whole house, and he's choosing his opera director. I mean, yeah, the opera director and ballet director.
He has a
So
double task.
Their contract are depends from his contract. So
Yes.
if he has usually for 5 years,
Yes.
so they stay 5 years. So if he goes earlier, something happened, they also need to go.
Wow.
I mean, need to go. If other director come and he wants them to stay, they can stay, but
Yes.
it's not necessary. They
Yes.
can.
So he can
Usually
decide for the
it's
others.
5 years. It's 5 years. It's not more.
Yes.
That is why it's not. And we go to retirement anyway with ages. You know, it doesn't matter which job you do. You
Yeah.
have this many ages, or how old you are, or how many working ages you have. This is the point. So it doesn't matter what you do. It's not about the job. It's about how old you are. But you can still work when you are also older. You can, if they want you, if you, I don't know, you can work. It's not a problem, you know.
Yeah. So now you have described very well how you started ballet, how you became a dancer, and then how you swapped into from ballet to assistant, and from assistant to teacher. Now, how did you started choreographing, and how did you develop those skills and you discovered those skills in choreography?
Well, I'm not, let's say, a big choreographer. I didn't never do like a whole piece ballet or something. I would like to, but I never got the chance. As I said, when my child was small, this time was for him, you know. I mean, had a job, but I couldn't afford to do something extra. You know, if choreograph, you need to think about it, you need to be at home in it, you need to have peace and quiet. It was just out of. But then I slowly, I don't know, I always had this, because how I also went to ballet, I was always dancing on music. I always felt the music. I was always, when I heard the music, I was dancing around the house and improvising and doing movements. For me, music gives me inspiration to do some kind of movement. I see the movement. And this is choreography. What else, you know? So then I just, when we have the ballet association here, some kind of the artistic association, and they had some kind of evenings where anybody could apply to do the choreography, you know? And then I was like, okay, now I wish this all my life, and it's not theater, it's nothing. I will not get a critic, you know, it's just something if I want to do, and I try, and I did it, you know, and I was happy. I did this thing, and then first was just an evening of the choreography on Slovenian music, and then it was like competition with some miniature. Next year, and I did it. I get the silver prize, and I did it few more times. But in the theater, I don't know, somehow, because my language is, I'm not saying it's classical, but it's based on classical movements, you know, with some body. Yes, but I didn't really develop as a choreographer because it didn't work. Because if you want to develop, you need to do it, you know, you need to do it more and more and more, and I did it too less.
You need to practice also on that,
But still, you know, when this lady was, who just want contemporary, she didn't want my because it was not,
Yes.
contemporary rolling on the floor and falling
Yes.
down and this stuff. And now Renata Danila came, and also somehow, I don't know, I also don't see some big interest in my choreography, so I just gave up somehow.
Don't give up. Never give up.
I mean, give up. I didn't give up, but if there will be opportunity, I would take it. It's not to say
Yes.
I will not do any more
Yes.
steps.
No,
Which
don't
is
close.
doing for school. I'm doing choreographies. Just now we had some big
Yes.
ballet evening because I'm working in some other city out of Ljubljana, and we had there 20 years, and I help with the regie, with the ID, with the organization, and I also made all the choreographies almost for their
Yeah.
children, which was very nice. But children's choreography is something else than So no, I still want to do it, of course,
Yes.
but I don't have. I'm 58. My knees hurt. It's also already hard to
Yes.
show some stuff, and also you cannot do the same when you're really young and your body is still fit.
Yes. Yes.
Then you can try much more.
Yes.
You know
But
what I mean?
now that your son has grown up, he's, I think, a young gentleman.
Yes, no, he's
Yeah.
already working. He has a job.
So now maybe if you would apply to find a job as a choreographer or as a ballet teacher, not in Slovenia, but in another place of Europe, even for a short time, maybe this would give you the opportunity to develop something.
Yeah.
If
I
you
was
must
thinking
have
about this already
yes,
because I think my class, I think it's good because
yes,
always anybody who came from
yes,
outside always congratulates me.
yes,
Always.
yes,
Always I get such a good positive feedback and from really different people, different dancer with different background. But always I get the good feedback.
yes.
People came,
This is
this guy who is now in national in England, this Russian, I think he's Russian, tall, he's dancing really like everything.
Vadim
So
Vadim Montagilov?
yes, yes. He was in Ljubljana. He should do the premiere of our, but then was Corona, was this,
Yes,
yeah.
the pandemic, yes.
He should do, yes, the premiere of the La Corsar, which did this, now we had the premiere of Giselle. But then we had to move it a little bit because of this Corona. And then they had something there. And then a few days before he need to leave. And then, you couldn't travel, everything was so complicated.
Yes.
But then I was teaching and he came to my class. I was teaching in a small studio because we have 2 studios. And once he sometimes didn't like the class downstairs and he came to he's such a nice guy, such a normal guy, such a kind guy. Like I say, good. I mean, people who are really star in a good way, they are always normal.
Yes.
Normal and kind, no problem, nothing.
Yes.
And he loved my class a lot. He told even other people that I have really good class and that he want to come to my class. And I was like, well, and I see him, I was like, this guy said I have good class, for example, but it's also so many. So I know I have this kind of feeling for that, and now I also have quite a lot of knowledge. I finished the academy. I did the methodology by Vaganova. So all together,
Well, maybe also through this interview, maybe some people in England or some countries could be interested of what you say. This you never know. You never know what happens.
Never know, yes. Because I never even tried, because I'm telling you, then when my child was small, I didn't. And now I'm some kind of comfortable here. I have my partner and my dogs, and I'm still working in the theater. But now I think next season I stop. I go to retirement. I will see the best date for me. And then really, I was thinking maybe teaching here around, also in some other cities, but I'm open. So
Yes.
we'll
You
see.
never know. Life is made of surprise.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
things, events always come, your dreams become true, maybe not in the moment that you are dreaming of, but they get true after a little while. But they come. So don't
yes.
worry for that. You have to,
I
you
don't,
have
I
to.
don't.
So just very briefly, describe your experience when you went to teach in Egypt. What was your first impact in Egypt when you saw the students, that you saw the technique and the school and the atmosphere? Of course, it was completely different from Europe, but
Well, when because I think we here, I was never there before. And also, this 11th September and this stuff, it was a big anti-Muslim time, how can I say? And also a lot of time we had like a children already heard so many scary stories, then they just buy women and they pay you with the camel. I don't know. This was a lot of this kind of stuff, which made us in our head this Muslim world so terrifying, So I didn't really know, no, but it's true, and a lot of people, they don't know anything about it. And Egypt, it's so dangerous, don't go there, don't go there. And I spoke with Nina because she's Slovenian and so on. She was like, yeah, sure, come, we will be here. And when I came there, it was so nice. It was such a nice experience. People were so kind, so warm. So really, okay, I was living, I know also Egypt has different parts.
yes,
There's some poor parts, which is
different
probably
culture
not
also.
such a nice
Yes.
life. We are poor people and living on the graveyard. So, but I was living in next to Nile, in this old beginning, Madi, they call it. It's like the beginning of this
Yes,
Cairo. It started there.
yes, yes,
It's quite, not say rich, but quite, it's not a poor,
yes. Just
there
middle class,
are
yes.
big difference there. So it was really no feeling of anything scary at all, not at all. And school was very nice. The children were then, Nina has all the time a problem with teachers. It was so hard to get a good teacher to Egypt, to Cairo,
Yes,
because they all the time changed and somebody came and somebody left. And this I could see on children, they wanted to work. She was doing very good job, Nina, nice studios, nice. They were always dressed, discipline, everything, but it was not such a good base.
yes,
But she's always inviting me still now, come, come, come. But I sometimes, if I would be not here with my family, I would go,
yeah,
already, because I would go already a few years ago. But like this, it's too far away, it's I cannot just go jump up and down.
yes.
And I don't know. For now I still didn't decide, but for sure I will go there, visit her, and go do some workshop and so, because I love, when I come there and all these children hugging me, Miss Claudia, Miss Claudia. They're so nice, so it's different, so different,
Different, yes,
Okay, I don't know exact. Again, I didn't live there. If you live
yes,
there longer, probably you can see also the bad sides. It's always like
yes.
this. But I really liked it, and I'm happy for Nina because now she got two good teachers.
Good.
I see one Russian guy and one also from there, but she's from some of these countries, which are also more Muslim, like Kazakhstan or I don't know, Uzbekistan or somewhere
Yes,
there. Young lady, but she's doing such a good job because I'm watching, Nina is always putting a lot of video, and it's such a big difference. And she made, I said, now you have a good teacher. Now you have a teacher.
I'm
And
happy to
this
hear that.
such a
Yes,
difference on the children.
Yes, yes.
The children, they finally start to, build the bodies, go
And
their
improve the
work,
technique also.
stronger position. And, but again, in Egypt, I also, when I was in school, I did some work about this, seminar work. It's also this life, okay, Cairo is quite open. You can see there ladies without you can
Yes,
see this kind of people, and you can see normal in mini skirts, and they're
yes.
normal for us, normal, but it's, yeah.
Mm,
It's free. It's quite a big freedom there, you can choose.
yeah,
But if you choose to cover yourself, like it's in Muslim religion, then
yeah.
anyway you cannot be a ballet dancer.
No,
It's you cannot show yourself in front of the men,
yes,
so you cannot be professional ballet dancer. So
yes,
this is already one thing which for me was a big question. So why I teach these children if they cannot be ballet dancers? So it's only for fun, it's for hobby, it's for, so this is then other attitude also for the teacher. You know
yes,
what I mean?
yes, yes, I understand. Yes,
Especially in this school, Nina has high level school. In fact, in I'm not high level. How can I say? It's expensive school. It's school
yes,
for the people who has money.
yes.
So a lot of these people are also,
For people
know
well,
what
who
I
are
mean.
well off.
Spoiled
Yes,
children. They come just for, when I did Zoom for her through when it was Corona. Some of these were just, girls were just sitting there and doing nothing. Not all, not all, of course, but in a normal ballet school, this cannot happen. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes, yes, I
So it's a
understand.
very different approach. It's a very different world, different religion. So, but they have the ballet theater, they have the ballet school. I mean, the government ballet school also, and they have a ballet ensemble. So there are in Cairo, there are people who are
Yes, there's a ballet,
dancer.
the Cairo Opera House who has the
Yeah,
ballet
they have
company.
opera house. They have two companies, contemporary company and classical. So
Yes,
there are people who decide to do this job because
yes,
it's quite a big freedom there.
yes,
Like when we were in Oman, there's no way. There's no way they have to be all covered.
yes.
Also, when we were
It
in the
depends.
theater,
It
we had
depends
a
of
big.
the country, or it depends of the country.
I'm telling you, in Oman, Muscat, such a beautiful place, but they cannot be their people. It's just
Yes,
for guests.
yes,
Because when we were in this house, it was so beautiful, but we like when we walk, I mean, not me, but the girls, because they were quite
yes,
not naked, but on the stage they were
yes,
showing
yes,
all these parts which they shouldn't show, but
yeah,
on the stage they can. But like
yeah.
on the halls,
No,
because there is a lot of army, they always have to put, if somebody was running, forget something, they already come and
yes,
like,
yes.
it's very strict,
Yeah,
so.
very strict, yes. And also European people who go there, they have to adapt themselves
Yeah, but it's
to the point
normal.
of view of the country, which is, I mean,
But for
completely
me, this is
normal for
normal.
them. We have to adapt ourselves if we go there to teach. Yeah. So,
But this for me, it's normal. If you go
yeah,
to other country, you need to adapt. If you don't want to adapt, don't go there.
yes.
Easy.
For
No?
instance, in some countries, it is absolutely forbidden for men to teach to women classes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Absolutely
Because,
forbidden.
yeah,
In ballet schools, some ballet schools, they don't accept men,
yes.
they accept only women.
Mm,
So it depends of the country.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Claudia Sovre, we have reached the end of our interview.
Yes.
So I will ask you three last questions. The first one, what is your wish that you would like to give and express from your heart to the young dancers generations who are watching you in this interview and giving some hope to them all around the world?
Hard one. But in fact, it's an easier one. ballet is so beautiful, you know. Ballet, you have to feel with all your heart. You have to love it. So if you love it, nothing is. It's a hard job, yes, but it's not so hard if you love it. If you do it with all your heart, nothing is too hard, you know. Nothing is too hard. All these sacrifices, but it's also in other professions. There are other sacrifices, ballet, but it's quite strict, and we have to push ourselves all the times. But if you love it, it's not difficult. There are ups and downs, of course, in every career, but I think if you love it, it gives you so much. It gives you so much. So for me, I was never sorry to choose this job, even if I'm not rich, I have bad knees, but I still love it. Still love it till day, and I think I will love it till I die. I hope not soon.
I think
So just enjoy it, and if you feel that, go for it. Go for it, and
in other
that
words, you say that love is the main key to
yes,
succeed in ballet.
yes, love to this
Yes.
art, profession, and art. Ballet,
Yes.
it's art, you know.
The second thing that I would ask you, what is your wish that you would like to express to the Ballet International members who will be watching your interview on YouTube and on Facebook, for the performing art, for the ballet, for the all type of dances?
Well, I hope you find something interesting in my interview. I hope I was not boring. Usually I'm not boring.
Wow.
Nothing. Well, I'm just a story of a person who lived a ballet life, and like probably also other people, I had my ups and downs and changes, but I never, like you say, I never give up. I never give up. You know, I always go on. Even if I fall down, I say, okay, I will go to some other place. I don't like this. Okay, it's not for me. I try. But when I see it's not going, then I close the door and I go away, but I go somewhere else, you know. It's always a way. If you want to do something, really wish to do something, it's always a way to do it.
Yes.
Just I think it's the right time, the right place. And sometimes we want something so much, and it's not happening, and we get depressed and sad and this. Sometimes I think we just need to step one step back, you know, and look it from a distance and say to ourselves, why we are going there if you see it's
Yeah.
not going.
Sometimes doing a step
You
back
need to
gives
stop,
you a
breathe,
better jump.
yeah, breathe and stop and think about it. And you will, if you do things with passion and with love, and if you're honest, not lying, not going behind the back, no, but you really do it, even if you do mistakes, of course, everybody do mistakes, but then you say, I'm sorry, and we go on. But if you do it honest and with real passion and with your heart, you will always sometime go in the right direction. It's always things will happen to you somehow.
Yes.
You know, if not here, then there. If not today, then tomorrow or next year. But don't give up. Like you always say, don't give up, never give up. Yes, but this
Never
is
give up.
true. Maybe this is what I want to say. Don't give up.
It's a good
Just
reply.
sometimes we
Never
need
give
to,
up.
just sometimes we need to, like for me, I'm talking for me, ask yourself why I'm pushing myself there and why I'm losing my energy, so much of energy there, if I could use it much better than other place with other people, and I would do the same thing. And I'm sure I would make better progress and job, and I could give
Other
more.
place.
But
Yes.
sometimes it's just circumstances, politics, I don't know. It's a lot of things which are there.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I agree. My third question, do you give me the permission, the authorization to upload this interview on YouTube and on Facebook, Ballet International?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Okay. So, Mrs. Claudia Sovre, I wish to thank you. It has been a great honor and a privilege to have you online today. And I hope that you were pleased as well to express yourself.
Yes, it
So
was very-
before closing, I will end up talking to the Ballet International people. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for following this wonderful interview of Mrs. Claudia Sovre. As you can see in her words are real, are coming from the heart, and are expressing the beautiful experience that she daily has developed in a different situation in ballet. And this is what I liked in her interview today. So thank you again, everyone from Ballet International, and thank you again, Mrs. Claudia Sovre, for your patience, for your kindness, and for your great experience and professionality.
I would like to thank you to invite me, and I would like to say big hello, hug, and kiss to all the members of the Ballet International.
Thank you
It
very
was a good
much.
idea that you made it and put us together somehow. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You stay online 1 minute. I've just end up here. So,